Okay, hi, hello, good morning. Today we're going to do the mid-year book freakout tag, which is a mouthful to say, but here we are. But before we start the video, I just want to say the links to all the petitions and the place where you can donate and all the other links that I put on the description of my last video will be also in this description. So if you want to support, and you should, the Black Lives Matter movement, everything will be down below, because even if you don't see it trending on Twitter or Instagram or much on the news, it's still very much there. And you know, people are still marching and protesting, so you should do your part. So yeah, everything will be down below. Please take out 10 seconds of your day to at least sign the petitions. Okay, mid-year book freakout tag. As always, I have all the questions here. So we're going to freak out about all the books that we have and haven't read. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Here. Ooh. So, first question is best book you've read so far, and for this I have two answers because I really couldn't choose. The first one is, and bear in mind, I'm doing a video in which I only read Star Trek books because I'm a huge Trekkie. So, this baby here is Spock's World by Diane Duane, who is an amazing writer. So you can see all the things that I really, really enjoyed. If you don't know what Star Trek is, where have you been? What? So it's a TV show that has been here since the 60s. There is a new series, I believe, right now called Star Trek Discovery. So the original series is on Netflix, so you should really start watching it. This book is about the planet Vulcan and my favorite character, which is Spock, here represented by Leonard Nimoy. I really don't want to go in depth about this book because I have, as I said, a video plan. Just, you know, that I really, really enjoyed it. This is immediate 5-star for me. The next book that I want to talk about that is one of my favorites so far of this year is SINISTER by K.J. Charles. Yes. This is a typical like Regency era romance where there is this pair of siblings that live in this big mansion, and one day circumstances, the sister gets injured in the garden of another like neighboring mansion where this mysterious very rich young man lives. But, and here's the twist, it's a queer story. So the young man and the brother of this girl that gets injured, they fall in love, and it was so just everything I want in a romance. It was queer, Regency era in like the UK, beautiful gowns and dresses. The sister was actually a babe. I loved her. The romance was steamy and cute and wholesome. I loved it. Like 5 stars immediately. Also, I listened to it on audiobook and the narrator was delightful. Next is the best sequel you've read so far, and for this I have kind of a cheat answer, and that is The King's Man by Nora Sakavic, which is the third in the trilogy of the All for the Game by Nora Sakavic. So, you may have heard of the Foxhole Court. It's the first one in this series. I know that it's trash. I know that it's problematic. I know that the representation is abysmal. I still loved it. It's like a super duper guilty pleasure, and I love these books. I've read them at the right time in my life to really enjoy the characters and the fake sport, Exy. So The King's Man, 5 stars. Whew. Okay, next question is new release that you haven't read but you really want to. And for this I have multiple answers. The first one is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Here. And it's about a trans boy who summons a ghost. So, that sounds awesome. I really, really want to read this. Then the second is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. This book is en route to my house. I ordered it 2 days ago because of Teresa here on book. This book is about a young boy who is a social media journalist, I believe, who has a very big following online, and his father is a pilot for NASA. So they get relocated into another city and they get thrust into this world of I think a reality show that follows his family. I may be wrong, but I think that's what it's about. And he befriends another boy who is a gymnast. When I tell you, I am so excited to get this book because I love everything about space and NASA and pilots, and every little reference that I get in books I love. Also, another queer story, so perfect for Pride Month. The last book that I really want to read is Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temio. This is a sci-fi where I think a bunch of very, very young pilots, I think teenagers, young adults, get to go on a mission with some senior pilots to space, but something goes really, really wrong. So yeah, I really want to read this because I am on a sci-fi kick. Sci-fi is my favorite genre, aside from fantasy, and this sounds like a blast. Whew. Next is most anticipated release for the second half of 2020, and I know almost nothing about these books aside from they have a great cover. I really want to read them. I will buy them and my wallet will cry. So, in rapid order, The Witch's Hand by Nathan Page. Here, beautiful cover. A Peculiar Peril by Jeff Vandermeer, who is one of my favorite author ever. The same author of the Area X trilogy and Born. They've Drawn a Country by Emily Ted, who is the same author of Silver in the Woods. I believe this is a sequel that I really was talking about in one of my last videos. And then there is The Friend Scheme by Cale Dietrich. I hope that is right. This is the same author of The Love Interest that apparently nobody liked, aside from me. So I'm excited. Who next? Biggest disappointment. There is a book that I've talked about and I vlogged my experience reading this, so I will link it on a card, I think they're called, and that is Nevernight by J. Kristoff. Yeah, so it started out great. I loved the beginning, I love all the characters at the beginning, and then they got irritating. I started to hate the writing. The plot was going all over the place, at least for me. So I was very disappointed because I really like Pieraforde here on book 2, but she is awesome. She is an actress also, and she started this mini YouTube series of Nevernight. So she is the main character, and I love that YouTube series. So if you want to watch that, I will link that down below. But I hated the book. I was so disappointed, and I really like her and her series, so I don't know why I didn't like the book. Maybe it was because of the sex scenes. Yeah, those were very horrible. Next is another book that I actually have in physical form, but it was too lazy to take out, and it's Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Again, it started out great. I loved the plot. It was so compelling. And then the ending. The ending was such a fuck you to everybody who was following the mystery. So I don't know. I didn't like the ending at all. It was not satisfying. It was not anything. It was so bland at the ending. And the whole plot was so interesting, that's why I was so disappointed. Whew. Next, its biggest surprise, and that is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. This is a very weird philosophical book that I can explain. Like, the plot is so hard to explain because it's like a philosophical journey. If you ever studied philosophy, when they describe the path of enlightenment or the path that you have to follow to find like the true you, the true like inner soul of the human, what it's like to be alive, etc, etc, etc. This book felt like the novelization of that, so there's a character that goes on a really long journey to find what it's like to be a true, like, non-human being, but what it's like to be alive in this world. It was so weird. I have a vlog of me explaining all my feelings while reading that. I will link that here. But yeah, Vita Nostra, it was great. Woo! Okay, so next, favorite new author, and I have three. The first one is KJ Charles, who wrote Ben Sinister. The next one is Diane Yuan, who wrote Spook's World. And then I have another Star Trek author, but it's actually like a really important sci-fi author, and it's Vonda McIntyre. She wrote The Entropy Effect for Star Trek, but she's also like won Hugo's Awards and Nebula's Awards. She's a huge sci-fi author, and she is awesome. Her writing is superb. She writes so cleverly, which is what I like. So please check all these three authors out. Next is your newest fictional crush, and for that, I'm sorry if this is so one note, but it's from a Star Trek book. And this is Killing Time, which, if you know this book as an interesting like printing story, this is not the first edition, unfortunately. This is the revised edition, the less gay edition. But here, there is a character that is also, I think, in the TV show called Sarela or Sarela. I don't know how to pronounce that, but she is a babe. She's the captain of the ship, and she like conspires with the Empress here to gain power and get what they want. And like, she's such a cool girl. I crushed on her so hard. I want a Sarela in my life. Can I get like a girlfriend like this, please? Next is your newest favorite character, and that is Moomin from the Moomins and the Great Flock, but the whole like Moomin universe. It's not actually new, but I read this book, and it's the first book that I've read by the Moomins in 2020, so it kind of counts. I love Moomin so much. He's such a bundle of joy. He represents everything that I was when I was a little kid, like full of wonder, full of everything is a play and everything is a game and everything is so happy, and then you get sad, but there's your family supporting you, and he's so like, he's so comical and round, and like, I don't know, I love him so much. Next is a book to make you cry. So, no book I've read in 2020 so far has made me cry. But, and here I am doing something that is kind of like, I'm going to count a fanfiction for this. And I wouldn't normally do this, but this fanfiction was 958 pages long. 958 pages long! What? Okay, so it's my fault for embarking in this journey, but I read this fanfiction in 3.5 days. 958 pages in 3.5 days. I am insane, or I'm going insane, I don't know. So the fanfiction is called Observation by, I think the author is called Janan, the username is Janan. Yes, it's a Star Trek fanfiction. Yes! So it talks about the character Spock and his recollection of all of his journey throughout his life, and it's the Spock of the J.J. Abrams movies, going through the adventures like the Spock of the original series back in the 60s. It was so good. I cried multiple times because it was so sad at times. It talks about beauty, it talks about art, which, you know, a Star Trek fanfiction talking about art and beauty and what it means to be alive and a sense of self. Weird, who would have thought? But let me tell you, it also talks about racism, homophobia, people attacking the LGBTQ plus movement and how to overcome that. Spock is a son of two cultures, and it's like a hyperbole on what it's like to be mixed race. So it was so great. And oh, it also talks about like PTSD and mental health, which was, why is a fanfiction better at this than my teachers in high school? Tell me why. Whew. At the opposite of the spectrum, a book that made you happy, and is this Women's and a Great Plot. As I said, I love the Women's. These stories are full of wonder and such like passion for writing, and the drawings are like super duper cute, so it made me so happy. Cool. So next is favorite book to movie adaptation you saw this year. So because of the COVID-19, I couldn't go to the cinema, and I love going to the cinema. I don't really like watch movies at home, so I haven't really watched any movies recently. I watched Call Me by Your Name on Netflix, so I guess that kind of counts. But it's not my favorite, it's just the only one I've watched. So, next is the favorite review that you've written, and for that, I've written my first NetGalley review, so this is kind of, you know, special, and it's for the book Invisible Differences by Julie Daché and Mademoiselle Caroline. So it's a French book about what it's like to be on the spectrum in France. It was so super informative. I highly recommend this book. Again, I talked about this in one of my videos, so I will link this down below. Next is the most beautiful book that you bought, and for this I have 3 books because they are like all 3 so beautiful. The first one is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which I'm kind of nervous because Jay Kristoff is here, but I love Amy Kaufman other books, so you know, but the cover is beautiful, and it does like a thing that I'm a sucker for, which is the like I love this. Next is Chain of Gold, the Italian edition, which is pretty blue, so it is embossed, but the thing that like caught my eye is that the inside jacket is a poster. What? They never do this in Italian edition. Never. Let me tell you, never. And the third one is kind of a cop-out because it's my favorite graphic novel of all time. And it's Golem by Lorenzo Cicotti, or LRNZ. This is the reprint in floppy edition, which, you know, still like super beautiful. This is a sci-fi graphic novel about what it's like be in Italy in the future, what it's like a dystopian-y future, so kind of cool. Isn't it beautiful? I'm sorry if I talk about this book and this author all the time, but it's like my favorite art style ever. Next, and this is the last question, is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Yeah, no book comes to mind. No, I've actually like a ton. So I'm going to briefly mention them and then we will get to the end of the video. First thing first, Train of Gold and Aurora Rising. Then I have The Nymph House by Leigh Bardugo, or La Nonna Casa, which another beautiful book actually. Next is a book I talked about in my auto education video, my last video, and it's Giovanni's Room, or La Stanza di Giovanni by James Baldwin. Okay, hi, yes, I know this video is already long, but it's 2 days later. I am even more injured than last time, but I have just recently passed an exam in university and I thought I could treat myself to some more books. So I have some more picks for the books that I absolutely have to read by the end of 2020. So I'm going to add them here. The first one is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This one talks about two individuals that share a flat, one by day and the other by night, and they never meet, but they start to like exchange little post-it notes and then they fall in love. So cute! The second one is War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. This one talks about two sisters that live in a world like torn by war, and it's a very sci-fi scientific book and they have to survive, and I don't know what their objective is, but this sounds like a blast. The last one is Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke. This one was recommended to me by the lovely Julia on BookTwitter and on BookTube. I will leave her channel like down below. When I discovered that 2001 Space Odyssey is actually also a book quartet, and this is the same author of the book quartet. What? That is one of my favorite movies ever. Me and my dad love to geek out about Kubrick, so I really want to read Rendezvous with Rama. Also, this book starts with my birth town, who nobody ever knows what it is, getting destroyed. So that's cool. Okay, back to you, Pastalis. And then I posted on Twitter that I have a book that it's over like 1,000 pages long, and many people wanted to know what it is. So this is my pride and joy. This is Star Trek La Pista delle Stelle, which is like the Star's Way. It weighs like a ton. It has Bible pages, so oh my god! It has, let me tell you, many pages of drawings, so even more pages than I can count. But it has 1,477 pages. This is the recollection written by James Lish and produced by Gene Roddenberry, who is the creator of Star Trek. This is a recollection of all the episodes of Star Trek in written form. If you go to the first pages, is Season 1, Episode 1, La Trappola Umana, which is the title of the first episode of the original series. Oh my god! It hurts to hold. I don't know how I'm going to read this, but I'm for sure gonna try. So, we've arrived at the end of the video. As always, I talk too much and I talk too slow in English, so pardon me if this is a really long video. I've half an hour of footage. Oh my god. So, again, links for the petition, donations, and everything else is down below. Links to all the channels and video I've mentioned down below or right here. I don't have an intro nor an outro, so I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!